everyone. Welcome to CP Radio. I'm your host, John Kamak. I'm here joined by
Mila Dawani,
Winston Pickett, and our special guest, Lynn Hazan, also known as ChicPeaJC. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming. So Lynn is the founder of ChicPeaJC, which is a blog and multimedia business that you have online, right?
Yep.
I read that you didn't start out as ChicPeaJC. You actually started out as ChicPea Life.
Yeah. So when I was working in the corporate world in Manhattan, and I decided to start a blog as a hobby, and my focus was mostly going to be more around like fashion, parenting, and just like my general thoughts. And then a few days before I launched, I was like, you know what, I really love Jersey City, and I want an excuse to explore the community a little bit more and like meet new people and, you know, walk to people on the street and be like, hey, you're cool. Can I talk to you and ask you a few questions? And so I called my web developer and I'm like, hey, can we change the URL to ChicPeaJC? And the rest is history. And here I am.
Oh my goodness, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's so great. How did that start out?
So I started the blog, and I basically walked around with my iPhone and started talking to people and interviewing them, and then I would publish the article, and then it kind of blew up and kind of
so it started off as like a hobby kind of thing?
Yeah, it was definitely a hobby. I'm I'm a little older than you guys, just a little bit.
She doesn't look like it, guys. If you can see her, she looks great.
Just a little bit, and it was just a way to fulfill this like creative need, because I was working in a very corporate environment, which I really didn't like. At the time, I'm a creative, and so I started blogging, and I became kind of obsessed with it, and I really put a lot of energy. I would work 9 to 5, and I'm a mom, so I would come home, I would take care of my daughter.
That's great.
I would put her to sleep.
Does your daughter participate in a lot of this too?
Well, she's 5, so she's only 5, but she comes with me to a lot of events and stuff.
That's great.
And she knows, when you ask her like what, and she calls herself Mini ChicPea, which is really
that's
cute.
So cute.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so adorable.
And I take her to all my events. She comes on stage with me. She'll like talk on the mic sometimes. So she's getting like really comfortable.
That's
with
really
that.
great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And your blog, it started out as a blog, but now it's kind of progressed to like a business in a way, because you're like working social media networks as well, including in ChicPea. Was that always like your goal?
No, it really wasn't. I kind of take it day by day. People always ask me like, what are your goals are? And I see this more of a journey, and that, the thing is like when you have a specific goal and you don't reach that goal, if other things come on your path, you're kind of so fixated on that goal that you don't let other things kind of happen organically. So it really, when I started ChicPeaJC and I decided to pursue it full time, the first way I was able to make, pay the bills is by doing sponsored articles, ads, and things like that. And then I saw that there was a need for somebody to help these small businesses create, content for their social media platforms. So we started this side business called Content Creators, which content creators, so Mike, he's here, he's our director.
Oh, we forgot to introduce Mike.
Mike, do you want to say hi?
Yeah.
Say what's up.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So Mike is our director of what is your title again? Director of photography, and he he runs all our visual aspects of the blog and for our clients. So we kind of go out and we shoot content and we post, and it's really a fun business that really goes well with what we currently do on the blog.
So do you still work like your 9 to 5?
Oh no! Oh, it's been three and over and out. I got rid of most of my suits.
Yeah. You look very comfortable.
I'm very chill. I'm chilling. I wear whatever I want.
It feels nice, right?
It's great. I kind of, I had that like adult life, and I still am an adult, obviously.
But you're having more fun with it.
But I'm doing what I was meant to do, and I found like my purpose in life, and it's a lot of fun. I get to meet great people. I get to do things like this. I get to go to schools and write about youth in Jersey City that I'm very passionate about. It's a lot of fun.
So it definitely wasn't like a tough decision to quit your job then.
No, well, I mean, it is from a financial perspective.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
From when you work for yourself, you don't know when the next paycheck is going to be, and I do have bills to pay and a child to feed, so it can be stressful at times, but I know it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah, well, I want to congratulate you, because ever since you started 4 years ago and to now, you've had over 60,000 views on your blog every month. And you have over 20,000 Instagram followers, so obviously you're doing something right.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, as long as people are reading and sharing and liking, like I'll be able to keep going and doing this. So,
do you feel sometimes like you have a big responsibility to put out a blog every now and then about something you find politically incorrect or something you want to spread a message in?
Yeah, absolutely. So the blog, really, the intention when we started was to be primarily a culture blog, a positive blog, a website where it's more about empowerment as opposed to focusing on the negatives. You know, of course, I'm aware living in Jersey City, there are a lot of issues and problems. I didn't, as a culture blogger, I didn't want to necessarily focus on those issues because I believe in, you know, spreading positive, and there's enough, you know, outlets out there that talk about the negative aspects. And I think by, you know, promoting local businesses and artists and musicians and events is my way of kind of giving back to the community. That being said, I did write an article about 8 months ago. It's called "The Truth of Jersey City."
Oh yeah, so we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, so you know, I got a lot of backlash, which I knew, but it was really the honest truth. There was no, you know, ill intention around it. It just, I felt like I didn't want to live in this bubble where I'm kind of ignoring what's going on, and by not addressing it, it's ignoring. And by not saying like, hey, I know this is going on and I'm not going to pretend that everything's perfect here, then it's being, you know, it's
I definitely commend you on that. It's hard to talk about. Like,
it's hard to talk about, and you know, a few people are like, oh, too little, too late, but you know, like you know, we progress as human beings, and
we're constantly changing.
We're constantly changing, and you know, again, I will continue doing what we do best, is, you know, creating positive memories for people and empowering our local, you know, artistic community. But that article was like, I know what's going on. I'm going to still continue doing what I do, but I'm not going to ignore the issues that we face as a city.
Right. So I'm happy that you keep an optimistic view on, you know, all the things that Jersey City has to offer. Yeah. Like you said, there are a lot of people who do mention a lot of the negative sides. And in your article, The Truth About Jersey City, you mentioned stuff like violence, homelessness, hunger, even in children.
Yeah, we see a lot of that.
Which you see, and you see in a lot of urban communities. You know, I grew up in Montreal, and I grew up in Tel Aviv, and like you see there's issue, and in Tel Aviv there's like terrorism, and there's people blowing, you know, going on a bus. So every city faces issues, and Jersey City definitely has a lot of dysfunctions. And I try my best to kind of spread positivity and really empower the community. And my way of doing that is, you know, I started visiting, you know, local public schools, and I saw like there were not enough after school programs. So I was like, what can I do? What do I know best? So I know everything about, you know, the creative world, the digital creative world. So how can I give back to the community in the way that I know best, that I would also enjoy? And that's where Content Creators Academy began. And, you know, we launched it about a year ago. We have Content Creators Academy is a mentorship program for youth interested in digital media, content creation, and entrepreneurship. You know, in a world we live in, you need to know how to market yourself. You need to know how to create content. You need to know how to brand. You need to know how to create flyers if you're throwing events. Even if your end goal is to be an accountant, as an accountant, you still need to learn how to market yourself. Yeah. So I thought, you know, kind of starting this after-school program can empower the youth in our community to be their own bosses and to go after their dreams, that anything is really possible. So that is what I did with, you know, the negative things that I saw. I wanted to put it into something positive. And so we started, and it's been, you know, it's been quite the journey. It's not easy running a nonprofit when you also have a job, you have to work and pay the bills, and it's a lot of time and energy, but it was so worth it. You know, we have 9 students that are graduating the program this year. They're so bright. They learned everything from graphic design, video, photography. They created their own logos. They even were able to like operate drone. This guy who came in, he owns like a drone company. They were flying drones on top of a park, taking pictures. I'm sorry if that was illegal, but anyway, you know, they have a lot of fun. They're great kids. They're super smart, and it's really fulfilling to see that. And it's something that I want to, you know, bring to all the public schools eventually.
So as I was reading about your nonprofit organization, Content Creators Academy in Jersey City, it's kind of based or you're funded by donors, right? Like you accept a lot of equipment from a lot of people on the outside. do you find it easy to find people?
It's
or?
awful. It's actually the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so I spent a lot of my own money to kick it off the ground because, you know, you have to pay lawyers to get all the nonprofit documentation, buying cameras, laptops, or we're using what we can. But yeah, fundraising is extremely difficult. It's definitely very challenging, but it's worth it, you know, and it is what it is. You just have to keep at it. You know, if it was easy, then a lot of people would be doing it, and that's what goes with anything in life. Working for yourself is not easy. It takes a certain kind of person to be persistent and keep going and keep pushing, and you have to be very stubborn.
Do you have any advice for how someone would want to do the job that you do?
You know, you just do it. The thing is, like, I follow there's this quote that I say a lot to people. Success is measured by how many times you fall and get back up. You will fall, you will fail, you will make mistakes. People will not like you. People will say things to bring you down, but you have to just keep going. You have to keep going, and you have to stay positive. Always stay positive and believe in yourself. You know, when you walk around believing in yourself, other people will believe in you. So you make music, right?
Yes.
If you walk around like you're Kanye, okay, you're not maybe not Kanye, maybe not Kanye,
with the
but
confidence of Kanye.
just with confidence, not an ego. Like not you have to always be humble, but like I'm great at what I do. My music is great. I'm gonna be the next best thing. Like if you will like. People will want to be around you. You know what I mean? So I walked around like my blog is my passion. I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about Jersey City. So people were attracted to that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really just believing in yourself and never giving up.
That's really good advice. Thank you.
And do you find yourself receiving a lot of applications for this nonprofit, or is it sometimes kind of hard to find people?
Last year it was really hard because people didn't know anything about it. But now that we have students in the program and people can kind of see what's going on, we've been getting a few applications for next year. That being said, I want more. Like I want there to be a wait list. I want there to be like 40 kids. That way we can go to potential donors and say, hey, we have 40 kids waiting on this list. We need equipment. We need, a space. We need like more resources to bring these tools to these kids. So that's the idea.
Do you want to explain the structure a little bit? Because they start off as being mentored, right? Do they eventually end up receiving a job from you?
Yeah. So basically what happens is so for the first year, they meet twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. At one of, we use like a co-working space in downtown Jersey City. We have a teacher that manages the program, and every once in a while we bring in mentors from different backgrounds, photographers, videographers. Mike even did a few classes. We had an intensive graphic design class for like a month. Hatham owns the Clearport in McGinley Square. So we basically hung out in his basement and learned graphic design. It was really cool, So we bring in different mentors from different backgrounds to, teach the kids skills that they need to be successful. So they do that for about a year. And then after they graduate, they have the option of being paired up with a local Jersey City small business, like a mom and pop shop that doesn't have the money or the resources to create their own digital content. So it's really important in the world that we live in to have a social media presence. And some of these older businesses don't have the tools they need to do so. If you run a bodega, you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're opening, you're not thinking of posting on Instagram, right? So we pair them with the youth that a year and give them that experience they need. And also you're empowering the community by teaching them and giving them the tools. So ideally the student would sit with the owner and say, this is what you need to do. This is how you can be successful. This is the content that I shot for you. This is how you post, and that sort of thing. So you're not only empowering the youth to be their own bosses and make money, but also you're empowering the community.
Yeah, me as somebody who's, trying to learn a lot about the social media networking, especially for business, I just want to commend you and thank you for that, because not a lot of people have, like you said, that opportunity to access so many tools, to learn more, or to be mentored, and gain that experience. So actually, a student here in County Prep, Austin Prince.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love him, Austin.
He is in part of your Content
He
Creators
is,
Academy.
yeah.
No, he's very talented.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
so talented.
He's
And
very talented.
and what's cool is that, you know, they get to meet each, so all the students are like friends now. They follow each
Yeah.
other on Instagram, and you see them like, you know, like each other's stuff, and you're creating kind of a network of young content creators that are like all into different things, but they all like collaborate and they motivate each other, and it's really cool.
No, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about how you work with a lot of organizations here in Jersey City, like Liberty Science Center. I saw that you work with some of the After Dark events. You want to explain a little bit about how you contribute to that?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, I went to an event at night at Liberty Science Center. I remember talking to the organizer. I'm like, you guys should do like one for adults, like a party. You know, it'd be so fun to party here at night. You know,
because it's usually targeted for
it's
kids.
all kids, and like I go with my daughter all the time, and I want to like, and I'm riddled with anxiety with all these children. Like, but it would be nice, like coming with friends, having a drink. You know, there's
definitely.
food, whatever, and dancing, DJ, whatever. And they're like, yeah, we've been thinking of doing that. Then like a few months later, they approached me and they said, we want to start this Liberty Science Center After Dark. We'd love for you to be the ambassador and help us like promote it. So it's basically, you know, once a month we help promote it. We're there. It's a really fun time.
sounds like it's a lot
We've
of
been
fun.
doing it for 2 years now. I might be getting a little too old. No,
No,
actually,
definitely
here's the
not.
thing. It's from 6 to 10 p.m. So I get to be in bed by
Oh,
10:30. So it's
that's
so
actually
great.
a good timing.
And the demographic is really like, 25 and up.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
don't know-
older.
I don't know if it's the same for like, you know, when you get even older than like high school, but I love sleeping all the time now.
I love sleeping.
Oh yeah, I know. So 10 o'clock.
So,
is the perfect time.
okay, can I give you guys advice?
Yeah, of course.
Sleep as much as you can
Oh, I
right
take
now.
naps all the time.
Enjoy those naps.
Yeah.
Relish in the naps. I would kill for a nap.
Honestly, all the time.
Yeah, I can
love
only
them.
imagine with all the work you have with your nonprofit, with your blog,
And
with
I'm a mom too.
Yeah, with your
Yeah, being
family
a parent,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
that so
It's a lot.
and you are actually a hip hop dance teacher?
Yes, I teach a hip hop dance class once a week at a local gym. It's like a hip hop fitness class. It's a lot of fun. I'm doing it tonight.
That's so cool.
And I've been doing that for about 6 years now.
So how
yeah.
did you go into from like blogging and dancing are two like
So
different things?
I mean, the dancing has been around since before the blogging. So the thing is, like, something that people don't really know about me is that I've always been involved in culture in some aspect. So even though I didn't grow up in Jersey City necessarily, and I grew up in Montreal and in Israel, when I lived there, I was always involved in some form of culture. When I lived in Montreal, I had my own radio show. In college, I was the hip hop director. I would throw events. I was DJing at events.
You DJ?
I
That's so
I DJ'd it.
cool.
Well, like, but like not what you guys
Oh.
program now. I had like turntables and everything.
yeah, totally.
And you know, and I would volunteer at various events and organizations in Montreal. I was very into graffiti and art and music and all that stuff. So I was very involved in like that aspect of the culture. And when I lived in Tel Aviv in Israel, I was very involved in like the political world. So I was always interested in just being part of a community and helping spread positivity and talking to people. Just always kind of part of who I was. And then when I moved to New York City, I just worked at this corporate job, and it was like I felt empty, you know, and I turned 30 and I was at this corporate job, and you know, the CEO of the company was about to give me a raise and a promotion, and I remember going back to my cubicle and saying like, I should be the happiest woman alive. Like, I have everything. I live in Manhattan. I live in Jersey City. I work in Manhattan. I have a daughter that's a year and a half old. I have everything, about to get a raise. I have everything I could possibly ask for, but I was miserable. So that's the thing, and that's why I started the blog, because I needed to fulfill this like need to be part of a community, to be involved in culture, and here I am. So.
And sometimes, you know, a lot of people go through that, especially when there's something unhappy that's making them unhappy in their life. How would you give somebody the advice who's
change it?
Yeah.
I mean, why be unhappy? It's easier. The thing is, it's easier to be unhappy and go through the motions as opposed to like taking a step and doing it. But you have one life. You're really, and it's short, and you don't know when's your last day. So like, you got to do things that make you happy. You have to. You have to do things that make you. Have to be around people that make you happy. You have to do things that make you. It may be a selfish thing, but. but it's a selfish world. You are born alone, and unfortunately, you do die alone at the end of the day. So you need to do things that make you happy, and because of that, the people around you will be happy as well. You know, as a mother, I know that if I'm happy, my daughter will be happy,
Right.
and she'll see a happy mother. You know what I mean? And some people sacrifice things for other people, but you really need to like think, okay, what can I do to make my life better? You know, and take that step.
I think one thing that plays a part in people like staying unhappy is comfortability, and it was like
It's comfortable to be unhappy.
It took a big step for
Right.
you to quit your job.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the most uncomfortable thing going after things that make you happy. It's very
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Do
That
you
is why
feel like
most
you're
people
selfish?
prefer just kind of going through the motions
Yeah, yeah.
and then, you know, numbing themselves while watching TV or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's not a way to live. It's really not.
It's not. You're
you
right.
know.
It's not.
And as you said, you're really into kind of promoting this sort of culture that, like you said, in Montreal and now here in Jersey City. In your ChicPeaJC blog, you talk about events that happen here in Jersey City, about the food, the lifestyle, and even fashion, right? So you're really, you call yourself, I read online, a fashion addict. So do you want to explain a little bit about how you try to give out fashion events?
So it's funny because when I started the blog, there was a lot more fashion focus, but because there's so much going on in the city, that the fashion aspect of the blog has kind of taken a back seat. Yeah. But we now just hired like a new contributor who's going to be writing more about it. But you know, you see a lot of my fashion sense like on my Instagram. I like to post like what I wear and the places that I shop. I like to support local, local stores and vintage shops and things like that. And you know, I don't have a particular style. I like to dress very different every day. So and people always ask me where I get stuff, and I think that fashion doesn't need to be expensive. You can dress well and not have to spend a lot. And I think also shopping local is a big thing because if you're shopping at like H&M or whatever, every other person's going to be wearing the same thing as you. But if you're shopping local at local stores and vintage shops, nobody's going to have the same thing as you, which is cool. So you're also supporting local designers and people and your community, and you're also looking fly because nobody else has the same thing as you.
Do you thrift too?
I thrift all the time. I'm obsessed.
I loved thrift stores.
Love thrifting. Yeah.
For when ChicPea turned 2, so its second anniversary, you had a fashion show, right?
I did, yeah. I had a fashion show on the second year and the third year.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you use like local designers?
All local. The second year was all local models and local brands. The third year was the same thing, local brands, local models, and we had performers at the same time, and they were all local. So we use the set for the third year was all creatives under 25 who performed. So we kind of tried to everything we do from an event perspective is all local, local DJs.
And for the youth, right? Because like everything youth interested in digital media and entrepreneurship, that's what Content Creators Academy is based on, right?
Absolutely.
So when you're writing blogs, how do you try and reach out to the youth, especially since, a lot of kids nowadays, they don't really like reading?
Which is bad, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, we have a few youth contributors, and they write about people that they know that are youth. And I feel like if, let's say I wrote a blog post about you, you're going to share it. Yeah. And all your friends are going to read it, right? Because they're like, they want to support you, and they're going to share that too. So, yeah, maybe teens don't read, but they do. If it's about something that they're interested in, and we want to motivate them to, click on, and even if they just read a paragraph or whatever, or just see the picture and they like it, that's good enough for me. Right. You're engaging with your community. So whether you read it or engage with it on Instagram or whatever, or you share it on your social media platforms, he's getting more attention. We're getting more attention. The person writing the article gets more attention. We also try to use, good visuals. Mike takes really good videos and photos, and we try to capture everyone from every way of they consume information.
For when you're writing a new blog, what's the process that goes into it? Like, who do you have to bring along with you? Like today, you brought along Mike, so he can do obviously the photography and video aspect. But what goes into writing the blog, afterwards editing?
It's a pain in the butt. No, I'm kidding. People don't understand how much work it is, you know, especially if a blog is not sponsored, for example. So like, you know, everything we write, I would say 80% of everything that goes on the blog is not sponsored. This is all the, you know, culture, articles, all that stuff is we just come in, we interview you. So I come in, I interview people. It's kind of like what you're doing now. You're asking me a bunch of questions. I record it, and then, you know, I go back. I have an editor-in-chief, Alex. Hi, Alex, if you're listening. She basically runs everything from the back end of the blog. She puts, you know, transcribes the interviews, puts them together, she edits them, and then I'll add like an introduction, basically how did I meet this person, what kind of music they play, what inspired me about them, or my first impression, always positive. I have like I say, if you have nothing good to say, don't say it. You know what I mean? Like, my platform is not to demean anybody's, you know, work. So, you know, I write an intro. Mike sends over the photos or videos. We put it together, and then, you know, it's queued up. We queue it, and we have about 40 articles waiting to be published now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're swamped. So,
have you ever gone through a time where like there was a writer's block and you had nothing to write about? You didn't know what events were going on?
No.
Oh, that's great.
Wow, that's really
fantastic.
We have too much content.
Too much.
We have too much content.
It's better to have more than, you know,
we have too much. Really
I
too
did
much.
want to ask you, for the fashion show, like, are you going to do it again, but this time with, like, your pupils? Like,
I think we're going to take a break from doing the fashion show. So ChicPeaJC turned 4 actually a month ago. And instead of doing a whole big crazy production event, I just had a party at Porta because I was like, I cannot do.
Porta is so
fun.
delicious.
It's fun. Yeah. So we took over the whole restaurant, and it was just fun. You know, when ChicPeaJC turned 2 and 3, it was a lot of work, a lot of money, and it's very exhausting and it's very, you know, taxing. So I decided to skip it. I would love to do more fashion shows. My focus now is really just on the nonprofit and the blog. So I'm trying to kind of keep things simple for now. But yeah, I would love to do fashion shows. Do you guys want to organize it?
We would love to, right, John?
Okay. Well, we have a lot of things actually going on here in school.
Yeah.
We just had our own fashion show, the fashion major.
Austin was in it too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
He
He's
did
the best.
amazing,
And now we're having our basketball tournament, and then next week on Tuesday we have our music festival.
Yeah, you guys are a bit busy. Maybe next year.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Do you personally go out and look for events, or do you have people who go out and look for you? Like, how do you get in touch with somebody?
So we have an extensive calendar, and people submit their events. So that's how we're able to see what's going on.
And it's like organized that way?
It's very
too?
organized.
Yeah,
It's has all the events happening in Jersey City. People submit it, or we look online and see what's going on, and then we add it ourselves. I think people just know ChicPeaJC as a resource, and they want to make it to the calendar. Every Thursday we publish something called Top Things to Do this weekend, and people want to make it on this list because it gets thousands of views. So it's good to promote your business, your event. So as an event organizer, the first thing you're going to do is submit your event to the ChicPeaJC calendar so that you can maybe make it onto the top 10 list.
And for these creators who are managing these social media accounts,
which is me and Tarol and another girl.
Oh, all of you have your headphones on? I feel so left out.
And then for all the Content Creators Academy, you said they go into small businesses. Do you provide the materials for them through that nonprofit?
We're working on that. So that's the goal, is to have more cameras. Right now we don't have enough. So the students are using just their iPhones. We have one camera. Two students do have their own cameras, which is great. So they use that. But the goal is, we're really just it's we're doing whatever we can and with whatever we have to be able to just keep going, And that's the thing, people spend a lot of time planning. If I would have just sat and waited till I got the right equipment, I would have never launched the nonprofit. I was this is what we have. We're going to have to deal with this. But we're going to make the best of it. You know what I mean? And we're going to go from there. We're going to just keep building from here. So the goal is for them to each have their own camera and software and laptops and all that stuff. Yeah, that's the goal.
And like you said, sometimes even though you have nothing, you have to start from
You have to start from something. You have to just start. People will spend years planning in the planning phase. Stop planning, just do it. Just do it. Just go.
That's definitely what made you
people have like lists and things that they need to do. Just do. What's number one? Do that. And then get to 2, 3, 4, 5. Just do it. Just go. And you'll figure it out along the way. Nothing is going to be perfect. People want to wait till the perfect. And also, there's never a perfect time.
That's true.
There's never. I know a woman who was 8 months pregnant and started a business. So if she could do it at 8 months pregnant, you can do it when you're right now listening to this show. Do it now. Get up and do it. I would swear if I can.
Just like Nike. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
In your own words, how would you describe Jersey City?
It's a big dysfunctional family.
It is. We are.
It's a family. It's loving. There's a lot of issues, but it's a great place to be. I wasn't born and raised here, and I'm thankful to be part of this community, and I'll never, take it for granted. I've actually never lived anywhere in my adult life for as long as I've lived in Jersey City. So even though I wasn't born here, I moved around so much my entire life, from countries to cities, schools, etc. And I've been in Jersey City almost 10 years, a decade. It's the longest amount of time I've been in one place. So in a way, I grew up here. I grew up here, even though I'm a little bit older. So I love this community, and I don't take it for granted, for sure.
And I'm sure all three of us could agree here, even though I live in Kearney, but I go to school here in Jersey City. All my jobs are here in Jersey City. We all spend most of our days here in Jersey City. And, like you said, it's like a dysfunctional family. It does have its downs, but it also has its ups. So we're glad that you're promoting all these positive things, these events, these small businesses that, because of the gentrification that's happening a lot here in Jersey City, are kind of being put to the side. How do you view this gentrification that's going on here?
So, the thing is, it's such a tough, subject because, again, a lot of urban communities are going through the same thing. New York went through the same thing. It's an unfortunate thing. But my message to people, it's either if they were born and raised here or moved here yesterday, if you engage in your community and you support local and shop local, that's important. I know people who are born and raised here who don't hang out in Jersey City, who only go out in Manhattan. So that's not good either. You know what I mean? If you support these mom and pop shops, these small owned businesses, and if you voice your opinion in City Hall, there are meetings, there are zoning meetings. If you get involved in local politics, if you vote, a lot of people will be on Twitter or Instagram and complain about the changes, but they don't go and vote. So that's my issue. Go vote. Go to the City Hall meetings. Say if you see a development happening or you hear about news of things changing, go, fight for it. There's as a blogger, people say, "Oh, you're the poster child of gentrification." I take offense to it because I'm here to promote these small businesses. And I make money from these developers because I have no choice. I have to pay the bills. I have no choice. Sometimes you have to sell out a little bit. If I'm an artist and I'm making music and Coca-Cola, maybe that's not my thing, but they approach me to give me a ton of money. Yeah, I'm going to take it. I have to pay my bills so I can continue creating. Right. So I understand, it just is what it is. It's the part of business. I have a child to feed. I'm not, I have to make ends meet. So I understand people's thoughts of me that I'm, if I'm promoting these developments and things like that, but I have no choice. At the end of the day, I have to make a living. I have to eat. But at the same time, it allows me to write about the artists, to write about the community, to start a nonprofit organization and buy laptops and cameras and things like that. So.
Yeah, and we can see how passionate you are.
Yeah, for sure. Hearing you talk about
everything you do, and
I kind of got lost for a second. Right. Sometimes I'm not very I'm not
I mean, I'm very sensitive to and I'm not gonna front. I wasn't born and raised in Jersey City. I know that I'm very privileged. in where I live in the downtown area, and and I'm aware of that. And it's not like I'm not aware of that. And my way of giving back is by promoting these organizations that are trying to make a difference. Like this Saturday, there's a unity walk, and it's for, against gun violence. And I try to like align myself with these organizations and help them promote these events to raise more awareness, so that people who are just moving to Jersey City know, hey, take responsibility. Cool. You have a nice brownstone apartment in Hamilton Park. Fine. Give back to the community. Donate. Right. Get involved. Shop local. Buy local art. Promote these local people that have been here all their lives and keep them here.
I think I speak for all of us when we say you may not have been born here, but we do probably consider you.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate all the work you do.
We really do.
Thank you.
100%.
So before we end, I just wanted to kind of plug your Content Creators Academy. It's ChicPeaJC.org.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can apply. What's the eligibility?
So basically, you can apply on the website. It's for teenagers in between the ages of 14 to 17. You just have to have an interest in being a creative. It can be for anybody. You need to get a letter of recommendation and send in a resume. This just shows us that you're serious about this, because we do want people who are committed to the program, who will stay with us for the long haul. It's a really good experience. If it's a great way to get into college. You'll have you'll have actual businesses on your resume that you've interacted with, and you can also use my brand as a business that is like a multimedia business on your resume, and it's just going to open doors. It doesn't matter what you want to be, even if you want to be an athlete or write about athletics. Doing this program will be beneficial, because if you know Photoshop and you know how to do videos and photos, you can promote any type of business you want to do. Any type of industry you want to be in, even music. You want to be in music. You want to learn how to promote your music. Right. How can I make visuals for myself? And then you don't have to pay a videographer. Right. You don't have to pay, you just get your friends, you come up with like a shot list. Okay, homies, let's go. We're going to shoot a video for my new song. And you're doing it yourself. You're editing yourself. You're creating your brand, your logo. You can do it all yourself. It's like about empowerment. It's I feel like sometimes, and I was that teenager. I felt helpless. I didn't have a mentor to tell me how to, brand myself. I had to just figure it out myself. I think if I had a mentor to teach me the skills on how I can build a brand, I would be probably, ChicPeaJC 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So I think it's really a great program.
So you heard it from CP first, guys. We recommend you to sign up for
ChicPeaJC.org.
Yes. And of course, make sure to check out ChicPeaJC.com, where you can read all of Lynn's blogs. We want to thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me. You guys did great. Wow. So intense. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm old, I'm not used to these tough questions.
Thank you, everyone who watched. And thank you, Lynn and Mike, for coming out. Make sure to check out our next interview when we come back on CP Radio. My name is John Kamak. I'm your host. And
you're here with Layla and
Winston Pickett.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, so tired.
I know.